evening, YouTube. You guys end up watching another segment of TheCaliEffect. Today, we are going to be going over Ancient Gears, the deck you guys picked on the Facebook page. If you guys would like to decide what TheCaliEffect will be playing next or for future tints, then you need to be on the Facebook page voting just like everybody else. Ancient Gears won just by like this much, and Subterra's could have actually been here, but we are here with the OTK fanatic, the Gears of the Ancient. I like to call them the Gears of War, because this deck is good at what it does. First thing, providing war and chaos on the opponent. The second thing, providing war and chaos on the opponent. Not really much else it needs to do when it provides all this type of discord towards the opponent's life points that they don't really have nothing else to do, man. Really not much else to say. This deck is extremely good at summoning a plethora of Ancient Gear monsters. It's also really good at recruiting like a bajillion Ancient Gear monsters to your side of the field. So don't tell anybody about that, but it happens, and the deck can actually gain a lot of advantage from it. The biggest proprietor of this deck is Ancient Gear Giant Hound, big 4,500, attacks everything in your opponent's way, inflicts piercing damage, and is a dark machine, so can be summoned via Overload Fusion and Power Bond. This is the card you want to make because more often than not, it's going to win you the game 100% of the time. I really can't see a game where I've played where this card doesn't have any part of it, and if it doesn't have any part of it, I probably just didn't have enough materials to make it. And that's what's so great about this deck, is that this monster will probably spell G-A-M-E for your opponent. Nothing else much to say. They can just sit in the corner and cry because, like I said, it's nothing else to do. As you guys can see, he messed up with the utopic future, but even if he did have it, I just would have made Houtzer for game to inflict the 1,000 damage. This time around, you guys are going to be able to see, are you seeing the combo? No, you're not seeing the combo. You're just seeing the combo. I'm going to make a 9,000 attack monster, and then he's going to torrential it, but guess what? It's unaffected by card effects, so 4,500 meter, unaffected by card effects, 9,000 attack. Actually, kind of hard to deal with those type of things. This deck is nothing less of awesome. Trap decks, beware, because I really have no problem when I enter the battle phase attacking my opponent directly. It's not much they're going to be able to do, since trap cards cannot be activated, nor can spell cards, depending on what I choose if I have the gadget. Sometimes affect monsters too, so don't tell anybody, alright? This deck is just really good at preventing the opponent from doing stuff in the battle phase. The best thing about this deck, the thing that I like the most, is that they're all machines. So there are an endless amount of possibilities. This time I decided to go with the fusion route. Next time I might decide to go with the Exceed route. I can go with the synchro route with the Karakiris. This deck is just good at picking up anything since it is a machine deck, and going with it because, you know, it's a machine deck. It does just about everything. This Gears of War is the deck that you guys need inside of your arsenals. If you have not picked up 3 of the structure deck, well, you might want to get started because, like I said, we're going to be playing against Dark World. I know, right? And this guy, like, he goes off. I mean, like, he has all of the answers, and I'm like, man, you just too strong. You too strong. I don't even got a good hand like that. You got the sauce. So I'm just going to fusion into the Ancient Gear Golem fusion monster, and then I'm going to attack over the Grapha because, like I said, my hand isn't as cool as his. And now watch this guy go off, and I'm like, oh, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, look at this. Look at this sauce. Oh, man. And he's activating Cerilli? Like, are you really with the Cerilli? Are you cereal? Like, oh, man. That is a very nice board you have. It'd be a shame if I overload fusion into my main card and attacked all of your monsters for 100 more points than game, because that's what this deck do. That's how we do. On to the next and last game before we get you guys into the deck profile. I want to show you guys Cosmos, but most importantly, let's see if this video can get 100 likes. That's right, 100 likes, and you guys will get the Dino Masher structure deck version of this. Obviously, me playing the dinos, as well as a deck profile inside of the build breakdown with a combo tutorial. Now, you guys can't beat that. That's just like too awesome, can't you? But back to this game, I forget to use Houtzer's effect because that's just what I do apparently. And I'm gonna go ahead and activate in-phase fusion recycling plant. He's gonna Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit me, and tears are just gonna fall down my face because that's not good. His turn, he's gonna go ahead and attack with the Landwalker and then add the Wicked Witch. I normally don't take Max Siege Challenge, but in this deck, I think I'll make an exception. Destroying my Gear Town with Ancient Gear Catapult, activating Wyvern, this is going to lead to a lot, and when I mean a lot of damage, I don't really care how many cards you draw. I'm going to Ancient Gear Gadget for traps, then I'm going to Fusion Summon for Hounds, or for the Hound, and then I'm going to Overload Fusion for another one. He thinks he can get his monster effects off with Twin Twisters? No. Let's get to that damage and then make the Gundero for a game. Let's get to the deck profile. On to the deck profile. We run 2 copies of Ancient Gear Golem. It can't be special summon, but we actually find a way to ignore that. And when it attacks, the opponent can't activate any spell and trap cards. 2 copies of Ancient Gear Gajiltron Dragon. It's another monster effect that we can gain off of the gadget monsters. Also, when it attacks, the opponent can't activate any cards. That's practically for every single Ancient Gear out here. This is the main card of the deck. When it's normal summon or special summon, we get to add an Ancient Gear card from our deck to our hand. Very pivotal, and the fact that it's a level 4 helps. Ancient Gear Box, this is the card that we mostly will search off of Ancient Gear Wyvern. When it's added, we get to add 1 machine monster, Earth Machine, with 500 attack or defense from our deck to our hand. 3 copies of Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. I actually did not like this card at first, but over time it proved to be the most valuable asset of the deck, being able to fusion summon. 3 copies of Ancient Gear Gadget, or 2 copies. I hate this card. I just hate this card. Legitimately, it's a target for Ancient Gear Box. When it is summoned, you get to declare a type, spell, trap, or monster, and your opponent can't activate the cards in the battle phase. That's why I hate this card, is that it's, you know, not in the battle phase. It also can treat itself as 1 gadget when you tribute summon for an Ancient Gear. And then this card is just an 1800 attack monster. Most importantly, it's searchable through Ancient Gear Box as a 500 defense monster. For the spells, 3 copies of Gear Town. When it's destroyed, you get to special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your deck. Also, you can tribute summon an Ancient Gear monster for 1 less tribute. You're never going to use that effect. I'm going to tell you that right now. Or you probably are. Actually, it has came in handy. 3 copy of Ancient Gear Catapult. This is what makes the deck go. If you control no monsters, you can destroy 1 face-up card you control, and then you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your deck. If it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to destroy 1 face-up card you control, and then special summon a token. So that's where the Ancient Gear Town, or the Gear Town, actually might come in handy. This is the most important card of the deck. 3 copy of Ancient Gear Fortress. Anytime we summon Ancient Gear monsters, our opponent can't activate effects. Also, when it's destroyed, we get to special summon an Ancient Gear monster from our hand to our side of the field. 3 Twin Twisters, back row clearance. 3 copy of Power Bond. This card is freaking amazing. Fusion summoning and then doubling the attack of the monster. 3 copies of Terraforming to get in our Gear Town in the Fusion Recycling Pot. 2 copies of Overload Fusion. This card is completely nutty, bro, because it allows us for another fusion summon. 2 copies of Trade In for Draw Engine, and then 1 copy of Fusion Recycling Plant and 1 copy of Polymerization. That's basically to dig into another fusion. That's it for the main board. Let's go on to the sideboard. The Raigeki and Dark Holes for board clearance. Legacy of Duelist. This really helps against the Paleo matchup, preventing the opponent from setting cards. Necro Valley, really good against graveyard head reliant decks, just awesome, especially with the new errata. The Maxi for when we go second. Kaiju Gamsail, because we like tributing our opponent's monsters and then OTKing them afterwards. And then also 3 copies of Artifact Lancia. Infernoid matchup, Vanish heavy matchups, really prevents them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! That's it for the extra deck, or for the side deck for the extra deck. This card I've actually summoned quite a few times to push for game. You do use the 2 fusion monsters. I haven't summoned him much, but it's a really good card, being able to make cards unaffected. Hope Harbinger, I've actually made him quite a bit, being able to negate spells. Gear Gagan X for the extra search. Now, more often than not, since this deck is so focused on the OTK, you don't necessarily need to make cards like this, but sometimes you do make it, and it's very rewarding. Heavy Armor Train Whoosh, literally, you're gonna hear Ruben in the background, like, he's gonna do the horn thing. I haven't even got to it yet, but I'm running this card because you guys won't shut up about it if I don't run it. All right, now you can do it. Now you can do it. 1 copy of Castell. This card is just freaking awesome. I don't know why you're not playing it if you run rank 4s. The Diamond Dyer and the Emerald, just, you know, standard rank 4 stuff. You can actually use the Emerald to blow up your own Gear Town. That's it for the Exceeds. For the Fusions, 3 copies of Chaos Ancient Gear card. This is the main card that you play. It requires 4 Ancient Gear monsters, which is not hard for this deck. When it attacks, your opponent can't activate card effects. It also can attack all your opponent's monsters and inflicts piercing to your opponent. So it is completely the best card in the deck. 3 copies of Houtzer. You actually make this card quite a bit. You can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent, which actually comes up a lot. And then when it's destroyed, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. This is the card I was talking about. And then 1 copy of Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem, piercing damage, and then it special summons Ancient Gear Golem, ignoring its summoning conditions. This deck is really awesome. Guys, on to the combo tutorial. Before we even get into it, just say hi to my turtles. Hi, turtles. I hate those turtles. Or turtle. The other two ran away, but that's for a totally different story. All right. On to the combo tutorial. It requires 2 cards. You have to have no monsters on your field. So if you have monsters on your field, find a way to hide them from your opponent. You're going to activate Gear Town, and then you're going to activate Ancient Gear Catapult, targeting Gear Town and destroying it. And with that, you're going to special summon 1 Ancient Gear Wyvern. Gear Town's effect is going to activate. It's going to special summon Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, and then Wyvern's effect is going to activate to add Ancient Gear Box from your deck to your hand. With that, you're going to add, after 4 Ancient Gear Box, you're going to add Ancient Gear Gadget. Next, you're going to use Hound to fuse all 4 cards for 1 copy of Chaos Ancient Giant. You can combine that with an Overload Fusion to completely obliterate the opponent, to have 2 copies of Ancient Gear Giants on your side of the field. The next combo I want to tell you guys, it requires 4 Ancient Gear monsters. It really doesn't matter which Ancient Gear monsters there are. It also requires Power Bond and Overload Fusion. So in this particular hand, I'd probably summon the Wyvern to search the Ancient Gear box, to search another one. So just off the top, that's already 3 of the 4 required Ancient Gear monsters. It's not hard to get 4 Ancient Gear monsters on the field or hand. So you're going to activate Power Bond. You're going to send all of these guys to the graveyard to special summon 1 copy of Chaos Ancient Gear Hound. Now keep in mind, this Ancient Gear, or this Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, is 9,000 attack due to Power Bond. But now we're going to go for the overkill. We're going to activate Overload Fusion, banishing all 4 to special summon our 2nd copy of Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. Our opponent can't activate cards when it battles, so more often than that, that's going to be enough for game. The next thing I want to talk to you guys is a little more complicated. It requires you to have 1 copy of Ancient Gear Fortress, 1 copy of Ancient Gear Catapult, and you need either Wyvern in your hand or Ancient Gear Hound in your hand. For this, we're going to say we have Ancient Gear Hound in our hand. So we're going to activate Ancient Gear Fortress, then we're going to activate Ancient Gear Catapult. Catapult's going to destroy Fortress, and that's going to special summon Ancient Gear Wyvern from our deck to our side of the field. Now, Ancient Gear Wyvern's effect is going to activate, and Ancient Gear Fortress is going to activate. Fortress is going to special summon Hunting Hound, and then Wyvern is going to add Ancient Gear Box from our deck to our hand, which is going to add Ancient Gear Giant. That is enough for another 4 Ancient Gear Fusion play. So like I said, it is relatively easy to get 4 Ancient Gear monsters from your field, or to your field, or in your hand in some way, shape, or form, so you can make the Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. The last thing, it's not necessarily a combo, which is cards I really want to talk about. Cards I really wanted to mention is Fusion Power Plant. You can activate this card even after you fusion. It doesn't have to be face up on your side of the field to see the fusion summon for you to add one of the materials. It's also really good for searching polymerization from your graveyard or your deck. It's a reason why we only run 1 copy, and that's for that exact reason. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is that there are going to be times where you can summon Ancient Gear Wyvern. You want to summon as many times as possible, even during your opponent's turn. If your opponent will destroy Howitzer, sometimes it's actually better to just go into the Ancient Gear Wyvern to add Ancient Gear Box to your hand, to add the Ancient Gear Gadget or the other level 4 Ancient Gear monster. Another great thing I want to tell you guys about is that your 3K beaters are actually very, very summonable. They do so much damage, and they do put in a lot of work. There are times where I summon just these guys outright. Now, there are a lot of great Ancient Gear builds running around, and there are some great Ancient Gear cards that I decided not to play because I wanted to focus more on the OTK route. I want to know what you guys think. Most importantly, let's try to get this video to 100 likes. 100 likes for the Dino Masher structure deck that I am doing, that I would be doing on this Friday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.